This is the exercise and health topic in exercise physiology. If we have a look at this first slide and look at the text at the bottom, what fits your busy schedule better, exercising each day or being dead 24 hours a day? It sounds a little far-fetched, but if we have a look at the research behind exercise and what it does for our health, there's actually a lot of truth to this text at the bottom of the slide. And I thought, given that we're doing a topic on exercise physiology, it would be really important at the beginning just to take a look very briefly at the research behind exercise and health. Very early on, if we go back as far as 1873, Edward Stanley, the Earl of Derby, in an address at Liverpool College, said that those who think they have not time for bodily exercise will sooner or later have to find time for illness. And obviously this is illustrated in the bottom of the slide here, that if you're a couch potato, then you will get sick. And even though this was a long time ago, again, there's a lot of truth in this quote by Edward Stanley. If we take a look at some of the early research on activity and health, one of the earliest studies was the Transport Workers Studies in 1953, and they studied a lot of men, 31,000 men. The findings of the study showed that the conductors had significantly less cardiovascular disease than more sedentary bus drivers. The conductors were up and down the steps all day long selling tickets to the passengers in the bus, whereas the drivers obviously were sitting down all day. The difference in activity level changed the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. So in other words, the more active you are, the more protection you have against developing cardiovascular disease. And similarly, the postman who cycled or walked to deliver the mail, shown here at the bottom of the slide, had again significantly less cardiovascular disease than their more sedentary counterparts. An example of this were the people who worked for the postal services but sat and answered telephones all day. So again, the activity was shown to be protective against cardiovascular disease. Early on, there was some skepticism by medical scientists and doctors, but the research that's been conducted since these early studies very much supports the results of these early studies. And generally speaking, the results of a number of studies are shown in this slide here, where the beneficial effects of exercise are listed. The factor that we've looked at already is the decreased risk of cardiovascular disease, but exercise is also important for weight loss. Obese people are more at risk of developing cardiovascular disease, so in this regard, exercise is important. There's a decreased risk of colon and breast cancer, and also beneficial effects on bone mineral density. Some people swear by this, that exercise helps with mood and sleep. Research studies have also shown this to be the case. And finally, decreased risk of type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is very much linked to increased risk of cardiovascular disease. If we take a look at the bottom right-hand side of the slide, this very simple quote, which was taken from a journal article, says that some exercise is better than none and more is better than some. Sounds very simplistic, but this is what the research indicates, that any amount of exercise is better than none, and any increase in levels of exercise is always better. And in terms of better, we mean improved health benefits. So all these factors here listed will be improved with increasing levels of exercise, and it's also been shown that lifespan is extended in those people that are more active. So that finishes our introduction to the exercise physiology module and the first topic, which is not assessable, exercise and health. So when you're finished with this clip, you can access the topic content notes for bioenergetics and start with the first clip.